Greetings, friends, from Osan, Korea. This is Matt Conley, and we're just going to share some thoughts on innovation in our air and space forces because that's literally what I nerd out about. And so today, what I wanted to talk about is the incentive structure that we have. And a lot of this was prompted from my in-processing. The reason why I wanted to talk about incentive structure is because the way things are incentivized informs behavior. So what that means is structure informs behavior. Not in every case, so at the very edges of the bell curve, there's going to be instances where that's not the case. But for the majority of individuals, within the sigmas, it's going to be that structure informs behavior. And so if we take a look at the works on this, for example, the experiment that succeeded by Dr. Brian Maui, who is a retired lieutenant colonel from our Air and Space Forces, who created AFWorks, or one of the individuals that created AFWorks, which is an innovation organization. And he notes that our Air Force has an incentive structure that rewards individuals who status quo really well, whose records are very good. And so that sounds good on the surface, but what that creates is a risk-adverse culture on the back end, where not taking risks is actually better and more beneficial for one's career moving forward. And so that does kind of contradict AFI 1-2, section 3.4, the one that talks about improving the unit. And then if we look at any of the pivotal literature for improvements, such as the Lean Startup by Eric Rice, they basically talk about how we need to fail fast and fail forward. In fact, I would hear that in our Air Force a couple of years back, but it has since fallen off the mainstream talking points. But I really think we do need to bring that back, because failure is a wonderful source of information. And with that information, we figure out what not to do, which is also very important. And so the way we incentivize certain things, bringing it full circle, the way we incentivize things will inform an output. And so is the desired output a culture of innovation, or an innovative group of individuals, Air and Space Force, that is methodologically, technologically, and psychologically ahead of peer and near-peer adversaries? Then if the answer is yes, then we need to examine the underlying structure. And this means examining even sacred cows. Some of those sacred cows being like the way we measure work. Right now, we measure work with hours primarily, right? Hours spent at a location performing activities, rather than the value unit, the unit of value that needs to be produced. And then that's Frederick Winslow Taylor stuff, the principles of scientific management. And so I think a lot of those, that's just one example, but I think many of those sacred cows that the Air Force has, we need to examine them and to see whether they are still relevant in the information age. That's another thing that I get into in one of the classes that I teach, where we actually talk about the genesis of the rank structure and the genesis of the workday and the 2-day weekend and all that other stuff. Because if we don't know why things are the way we are, then how on earth can we modify them, or how on earth can we know where we're going if we don't know why things are the way they are? So it's important to understand the history and then to see whether or not that's still relevant in the modern age, right? Because the one thing that's consistent is change. That's one thing that the bureaucratic immune system does not like. It does not like change. It likes delicious stability. But anyway, that's my rant for the moment. I'm already up here at 4 minutes. Gosh, time flies when we're having fun. So stay tuned. I'm going to go set up a podcast station, and I'm just going to talk about some of this stuff in long form, and then invite some of the prominent voices within our Air and Space Forces, and just have a conversation on where we are and where we're going. So, signing out. Do good things, my friends.